Hey YouTube, it's day 4 today. I was thinking about things and I'm doing the YouTube challenge to help myself to get better talking to the camera. That's obvious, but one thing I was thinking about was, and I wrote some notes down for this today too. One thing that I was going to talk about is trying to be more engaging or try to be more personal with the camera. It's kind of funny because I was thinking about that, like how can I be more engaging, and I started to think about the way I talk to other people that I know, like friends of mine, and there's a weird connection here because it seems like I'm getting more familiar with the camera and myself. And in the real world, when you talk to somebody and you don't know anybody for the first time, you're really kind of protective of your personality and stuff like that. Like things don't kind of show very well yet. But then once you go on in your relationship, if you meet a lot or, as you become friends or whatever, you start to open up. So I'm trying to relate that in the same way, where I'm starting to try to open up and show some of my personality and become more familiar with the camera. It's just a weird process, and it's funny because I was just rehearsing kind of in my head right before I started this video. I was kind of rehearsing like, okay, so I can just say this or do that or whatever, and then when I turn the camera on, it's different. It's like that voice comes out again. That telephone voice comes out that that we all have. We all do it, but it's interesting that without the camera on, I can just kind of talk freely and think freely and do things freely. And then when the camera comes on, it's this strange thing that you have to act a certain way or talk a certain way because people are going to see you. Like, people see you when you're out in real life too. It's not a big deal. And people make fun of you out in real life. They just do it in their head. And I don't know. It's just a weird thing to think about. So I'm trying to think about finding a way to talk to the camera more like I would talk to a friend. I'm just trying to, right now I'm trying to imagine somebody that I know that I would talk to and the way that I would talk to them and stuff like that. So hopefully that'll just come more naturally to me, where I won't even have to think about it. It'll just kind of, that's just the way it'll be. So obviously something I'm working on, which is cool. The other thing I had written down that I wanted to talk about today was YouTube, the platform YouTube, and my relationship with it. So YouTube is probably, it's my favorite social media platform. I think it's a lot of people's favorites because you get to see and interact. I'm a visual person, so I'm a hands-on type person too. So I would much rather watch a video that shows me how to do something than read the manual. And I use YouTube a lot for education. I like to find out how things work or why things work a certain way or how to do certain things or whatever. So that's kind of what I use YouTube for personally. So I'm a consumer of YouTube for sure, and I have been for a long time. I remember before, when YouTube was young, before Google bought it, and it was still, just in its infancy. It was a lot different back then. I don't remember a whole lot about it, but it's definitely changed for sure a lot, where there's more of a, back then it was more like just people pulling out a camera and recording and putting it on. And then nobody had all this figured out. Right now, you've got all the gurus out there that'll tell you they've got YouTube figured out and this is how you do it. And probably a lot of them do because they're making, uh, they've got tons of views and all that. But anyways, it's interesting. I was thinking about the interesting part of it is being a consumer of YouTube for a long time. And then I've been starting to get into the entrepreneur stuff within the last few years, 5 years or so, starting to think of more like an entrepreneur mindset and trying to learn entrepreneurship and all that. It's been a very fun journey. It's been a lot of ups and downs and trials and failures, which is good. That's part of the learning process. But one thing I was thinking about that was relating me to YouTube and entrepreneur is, out in the world when we go shopping or whatever, we're called consumers because we're buying. And then the entrepreneurs are the ones that are selling things. And, if you relate that back to YouTube, it's kind of the same thing where on YouTube, I was a consumer. I still am a huge consumer on YouTube. I love, I spend, a couple hours a day probably on YouTube. And I just like to look up topics that interest me, that I'd like to learn about. I do some entertainment stuff too, but mostly I use it for learning things. But shifting this now to where I'm going to start, I'm trying to start this YouTube channel, and I don't even know where it's going to go or if it's going to go anywhere yet. I'm just doing it kind of as, I'm doing it as a project or a building challenge type thing to learn some new skills. But I'm not, it's different being the producer of the content instead of the consumer of the content. So I just thought it was interesting that is something that, you could relate to an entrepreneurial way of doing things. I'd like to explore that more as I go and try to see, in being an entrepreneur, you have to have something that would be beneficial to somebody else. So I guess in that aspect, me making these videos right now, this 30-day challenge, these first 30 videos that I'm making every day, I don't know if it's going to be beneficial to anybody. It might be, but it'd be interesting to know if it would or not, or if it builds into something that I could use to help others with. It'd just be interesting. It's an interesting journey, and so that's the fun part of this, I think. Just the self-exploration plus the ability to maybe help some others. So that's all. I just had a couple thoughts on that today. I didn't really write anything else down for today. So just more of the experience of it and talking through it, and just trying to learn as I go, and we'll see what happens. It should be fun. It should be interesting. I'm reaching out to people. That's another thing I wanted to say about YouTube was I'm trying to reach out to others a little bit as I watch videos and I see things that it doesn't really matter the size of the YouTube channel. Some are small, some are bigger. I've been searching some people that are doing like a 30-day challenge or new to YouTube or talking about YouTube building, which is something I never really searched before. So I'm kind of trying to make a conscious effort to when I watch something to see what I get out of that video and then just leave a comment about it. I've never really been the type to comment before, but maybe I can build a relationship with some people. I don't really have anybody in mind or anything in mind particularly. I'm just thinking about being a contributor instead of just a consumer. So contributing comments to the conversations and stuff like that, maybe building some network of, maybe building some relationships with people. I don't know. It's just, I think I would enjoy it if people reached out to me, which hasn't happened yet. This is day 4. I don't think I have anybody watching right now, but maybe after my 30-day challenge, I'll try to start getting some people, or maybe I'll do it longer, because I was thinking. It's funny, I didn't think this video would be very long, but it looks like I'm starting to ramble, starting to talk more about things that just kind of pop up in my mind. But I was thinking about doing the 30-day challenge, and then if I enjoy that, well, I don't know where I'm at. I don't know where I'll be yet, but right now I'm enjoying making a video a day. Every day I'm making a video, and I kind of look forward to this time of making the video and just talking, and then putting it in the editor. I'm starting to learn some of the editing stuff too, with like DaVinci Resolve and stuff, trying to get familiar with that. But maybe if I keep enjoying this process after 30 days, maybe I'll turn it into a 60-day challenge and just keep going every day doing something for 60 days. I heard somebody, and it might have been Mr. Beast, that said, do a video every day for 1 year straight. I don't know if I want to go that extreme with it. That seems, I'm sure it would work. I'm sure it would be hugely beneficial, but I don't know if I'm going to burn out or not. I don't know how long term this is going to be. So right now I'm going to do 30 days straight. And if that works and I still want to do it, maybe I'll do 60 days straight. And then 90, and then we'll see how it goes. If it gets that far. I don't want to jump too far ahead. But right now the goal is 30 days. So this is day 4 out of 30. So we'll see how things go. Thanks if you made it this far. Thanks for listening to me jab at the mouth there. I'll talk to you guys later.